Now we're going to have a fireside chat with Ayo. Ayo Dawodu is the founder of Loystar. Ayo, it's good that you joined us today. Thank you very much for coming through. How
It's
are
a
you
pleasure.
doing? How
Thanks.
is Lagos?
Well, Lagos is fine this Sunday afternoon. Everyone is at home, keeping safe, and I hope we're all safe wherever we are. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's different in different parts of the world, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some parts are worse hit than others. Tell us about Loystar. Like how did the idea of Loystar come about,
Right.
and what is Loystar?
Okay. So, first of all, my name is Ayo Dawodu. I lead the team at Loystar. I'm the CEO. And at Loystar, we've developed retail and a loyalty platform for small businesses to help them sell and drive repeat sales in their business. And this idea started out a couple of years ago where I walked into supermarkets in England and I realized, okay, we've got a self-checkout system. And typically I like shopping once in 2 weeks. Um, but because of the old system and these sort of loyalty programs they've put in place, I'll find myself going more than once in 2 weeks, which is against my normal behavior. So I realized very soon that the loyalty program was working and I was always wanting to go more than once in 2 weeks. And so I began to think, how could a small business leverage such technology and drive repeat sales, improve customer retention in their business? And so those were the ideas that sort of formed the seed for Loystar today. But beyond just a loyalty platform, we've evolved into a retail point of sale platform. So small businesses can use us in their store to keep track of sales, send invoices to their customers, design their own loyalty programs, keep track of their customers, send birthday messages and things like that. So everything that revolves around the point of sale operation, the merchants can do. And they also sell online. They've got their own e-commerce website. We've provided plugins that can sort of integrate with the offline store to deliver like an omni-channel customer experience. So that's what we've done on Loystar really.
Great. And what has been your growth trajectory over the years?
Right. So we've been mostly bootstrapped, and so we've been acquiring our customers mostly organically. We've invested in SEO, we've done content marketing, so we're very big on that because we know these channels are sort of um, the most viable channel if you think about it. They might not be the fastest, but they are sort of the channels that bring in the most loyal customers for us. We've observed. So we've acquired about 900 merchants, and that's across Nigeria, Ghana. We've got some in Gambia. We've got a few in South Africa actually, though we've not monetized them yet. We've got some in the US. We've tried to monetize a few of them, but I would say mostly in Nigeria and Ghana. That's where we have most of our merchants.
Okay, great. Ayo, tell us about how did you fund your startup?
Right. So, I mean, for a B2B startup, which is like using the SaaS model, we set to ourselves from day one, we have to be able to make money. Even though, so I was part of the accelerator or incubator program out of Ghana, and that's how come we met. So usually after the program, you get funded, you get offered $50,000. Um, so we were offered this $50,000. However, we didn't go with that deal because we just thought it was too early. Let's put it that way. So in terms of funding, we were able to sort of bootstrap we were able to generate revenue from day one. And along the line, we participated in startup competitions, um, different accelerators. And so far, we've been able to sort of, from those accelerator programs, get about $10,000 in addition to bootstrapping. And that's how we've really funded the business.
Great. And tell us about being generating revenue from the get-go, because a lot of people seem to struggle with that they start with the mindset that I need just to do these things and I'll figure out how to make money later. But you
Right.
decided to make money from the get-go, which is really, really great. That's how I believe businesses should start. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So again, it would depend on the kind of business you're running and on the kind of model. But from day one, I already knew that I had to be in a B2B sort of model. Obviously, B2C, you might not be able to pull that kind of stunt because you obviously need like marketing resource. But if you're in B2B, you're more likely to be able to like pull that off and get away with making money from day one. And so what we basically did is if the customer is getting value, it's very clear that they're getting value. You can place a value on that and monetize. You can simply say, okay, this clearly solves your problem. It's meeting your need. Would you be willing to pay this amount? And you basically work with that feedback, adjust your pricing, and you're already in business. So I just believe that you should be able to sustain a business as much as possible, especially when you don't have funding, as it were. So the lack of funding would get you create, like gets you thinking, and you become very creative on how you can monetize.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And now with the COVID pandemic, how has
Yeah.
your business been impacted and what have you done?
Right. So like I said earlier, what we've developed is a retail and a loyalty platform. Though we focus more on offline stores. So think of your small restaurants, cafe, bars, a fashion boutique, uh, a salon, those kind of businesses, right, that you have to walk into to get their products or services. And when the whole situation started, of course, everyone experienced the downturn, low transaction, though we still had some merchants transacting. So one of our merchants is a restaurant, but it's sort of like a cloud kitchen concept. So they just have a kitchen and then they operate online. So customers place their orders online. And what they do is they made use of Loystar's online plugin. And it's critical for everyone at this time. And so they were still able to see some transactions coming in, as well as other sort of food businesses on the platform. But we definitely experienced low transactions from the other kind of businesses. And for these ones that were still seeing transaction, we looked at them and said, okay, what are they doing differently? We know that they've installed the Loystar plugin. It means that they had an e-commerce website. For the rest of the merchants, they are losing sales at this period. And if they're not making money, eventually it would mean that we wouldn't make money because they wouldn't see value in our product. And then they would decide not to renew. So we thought, okay, we've got your product with pictures, uh, we've got the pricing information, we've got pretty much everything on your product. What can we do to sort of deliver value for you? And also from our own point of view, we've identified a problem. Well, not a problem, we put it like a limitation in our revenue model. So we do SaaS and we charge monthly, right? But based on the feedback we've gotten from interacting with customers and investors, or rather investors, there's been that feedback of, are you leaving money on the table? Why are you not involved in the transaction? These guys are making this much off the platform, transacting, but you're not capturing value basically. So with that frame of mind, we thought, okay, this is an opportunity for us, but this is also an opportunity for the merchants that are not sort of making sales at this period. What can we do? What assumptions or what hypotheses can we put in place to sort of test and see if there's something here? So what we did basically was to take all of the data we had, um, organized it, did some joinings on the tables, like made it very presentable, and we launched a mini microsite called Chow. So basically aggregating all of the food merchants on Loystar, aggregating all of their products, combining it with their loyalty offers, and then just presenting that to users, right, in a mobile app, mobile experience. So you go to child.loystar.co, you can see all of the merchants that have food to sell during this period and all of their products, as well as their loyalty offers. So you can see who's offering the best deal and you can want to sort of patronize them. And so that's what we did. And we've seen that, okay, there's something here because we've not launched it, but within a closed circle, I literally did so I posted the link and then someone says, oh, perfect. I actually need raw chicken right now. And I said, great, let's check on Chow. And we went on search and we found someone that had raw chicken and it was in the same location as this person. And then we said, okay, there's a match. Let me call. So this was not on the platform. I was doing this behind the scene. Let me call this merchant to see if they can actually deliver. So I messaged the merchant, do you have raw chicken? The customer wants wings and drumsticks. Can you cut and sell to her? Eventually, they were able to get connected and the transaction, even though it didn't happen, she had sold out, but there was a match. There was also a match with another customer that tried to place an order. So the hypothesis we put out was, can we capture value by facilitating transactions for these merchants? And what did we need to sort of validate this assumption? I mean, thinking in the lean startup framework right now, you want to be able to do or pull the least amount of resources to validate your assumption because you don't want to just believe it's going to happen. You want to test with a small size or small sample size and sort of validate that assumption in the cheapest way, lean style. So that's what we've done pretty much within the last one week, and we begin to see some results. It's very possible, looking very good that we might push on with this post COVID.
Fantastic. Well done on that. And
Yeah.
what advice would you have for other entrepreneurs whose businesses have been impacted, like in closing?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of advice going around webinars like this ones and everything. But what I want to say is businesses need to act. It doesn't matter if you think you are right, but what you want to be able to do is get feedback very quickly. Like you want to be able to run again. I mean, I'm a lean startup fan, so I try to bring that frame of mind in everything I do. So you want to run through the lean startup cycle as fast as you can this period. You want to be able to get feedback. It doesn't matter if you get it right first time or not. You want to be able to try something and see if it works because the more you're getting feedback is how that information you need to inform you when you eventually want to put out something post COVID. So the best advice I'll say is try something, get something done now, get feedback from it, and learn from that feedback.
Great. Great. It's good to see that there are a lot of us here are lean startup people, lean startup entrepreneurs. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ayo. Thank you for joining us. Are there any questions? Let's see from the audience. Okay, cool. All right, there are no questions at the moment. Anybody who's got questions, you can post the questions here, or you can post the questions on our Facebook page. Chilufi, I'm so sure has got a question. Yeah, you can post your questions here. So the question, Ayo, is from Column is that when you were bootstrapping, how big was your team and what salaries were you drawing?
It was just the initial co-founders where we were just starting and we could not afford to sort of spend so much. And in that case, yes.
Ayo, sorry, you were muted. Could you just start your answer again?
Okay. So I've had different phases of bootstrapping, and in terms of the team, it differed from each of those phases. Obviously, when we started, it was just the co-founders doing all of the work, so we didn't have to spend so much. But eventually, when we began to get some funds, the way we worked was a contract. So if we needed extra engineering effort, I was going to find someone specific for that work. I'm technical, so I know exactly what needs to be done. So I'm able to scope it properly, and then I'm able to like communicate it to the engineer in such a way that they know exactly what to do, and so they're able to give me a cost that's very specific and very friendly. So that's how I manage that. I mean, I think we're still operating that kind of model. So I have guys on contract where I just pay them for a feature, and then that's it. Once I need something else, then I re-engage them. Till the time you can get like someone full time. I'm technical, so I'm able to sort of manage all of the stacks and keep things going. So that's pretty much how we've
Yeah,
managed it.
thanks. A question from Neil is that at what stage did you feel like you needed funding?
So the question of when you need funding is again is subjective, but for us in our own case, I always feel that, or I think that you should not, depending on when you get funding, also determines how much equity you need to trade off. Well, my own opinion is that you don't have to use external funds to sort of validate your idea or sort of like go to market. I feel you should approach funding or approach investors when you've already had a product and you've sort of like tested market. So you've at least had one transaction completed. If it's a B2B, if it's a B2C, you have like decent amount of traction. But definitely you don't want to, I mean, depending on the kind of business, right? You can decide you want to go for funding early on if it's very capital intensive. Or if it's not, then you want to, as much as possible, try and develop an MVP within your own resources. And when you have something working, then you can approach investors.
Okay. And then very quickly, how did the question from Chris, our
Right.
friend, yeah, says, how did you incorporate your stakeholders' insights early on in designing the product? And at what stage were they brought in? Do you think you could have done better in integrating feedback into that process? So during the lean startup,
So I'm not sure I
during
got the
the,
question.
yeah, during the startup phase, like when you're developing your product, how did you
Yeah.
bring your customers in? How quickly did you bring them in trying to understand their requirements?
All right. So still applying the lean startup, there's something called customer development. And I usually say or tell myself, you do customer development first before app development. Because you're building an app for an audience, you're building a product for a market, you want to get your information from the market. So you want to do customer development, which means you want to speak to customers first, sort of like understand their model, understand what they need. In some cases, you want to be able to sit down with them, observe how they do their business, and all of those information and sort of apply it in your building process. So it's just as good as walking to a store and saying, "Oh, I have a product." So in our own case, actually, it's very interesting. What we did was the first product we had was a booklet, right? So we made a booklet, we branded it for this restaurant, and in that booklet was basically a spreadsheet which had different rows, and we had customer name, number, amount spent, I think. So that was it. And we gave it to the manager and said, okay, give this to your cashier, and basically just log all of the customers that come to visit you. And what we did was at the end of the week, we went back, we took the list, and basically just sent SMS to all of those customers. And the business or the manager found value in that, like just simply communicating to customers that, okay, thank you for stopping by. Today's Friday, stop by for a happy hour. He found value in that. But that was just basically SMS marketing. But he found value in that and was to pay for it. So that was our first product. And based on that, we worked with him to sort of improve the product, like from that booklet format. So he was the first user of our app. It was the first. He was very patient. I mean, we worked with him for over a year. The manager left and went to another restaurant. He introduced us to his boss, and we worked with that boss too. So that's pretty much where we got our intel and product from.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ayo. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. And that's like a really true lean where before you build anything, you sell, you test, you learn,
Exactly.
and you get as much feedback from the users as possible. Thank you very much. I
Well,
know there are a number of questions. We'll post them to Ayo, and then they'll be answered on the Startup Circles Facebook page. Thank you very much, Ayo.
all right,
Cheers.
you're welcome. Thanks for having me. Cheers.